Right, so the Green Party Lords motion by Jenny Jones failed. Labour Lords letting it pass has meant a precedent has now been set for Suella Braverman to crack down on protest in whatever way the police see fit, with serious disruption now changed in the terms of the Public Order Bill to one of anything more than minor. Completely undefined as that is, the police using their judgement. That's never been a problem before, has it? Parliamentary process has failed. The UK is now functionally a police state, able to detain and arrest anyone on the basis of they decide to be disruption at any given time on any given day. Suella Braverman, as you can imagine, is gleeful at this now, busily drawing up new restrictions to protests as she functionally sees fit, having been allowed to do so through subverting parliamentary scrutiny, now making laws without them being passed a requirement that she has no business and no power to be creating. An absolutely unprecedented abuse of power is now coming down the line because some people voted Tory. Labour have decided it's unconstitutional and not traditional to oppose that. I had no idea spinelessness was a tradition amongst the Labour Party, but Sir Keir the Abstainer is well known by now for his fondness for getting splinters in his arse from fences. So now politics has failed. Perhaps the law, the bits Braverman hasn't subverted yet and bent to her will, can rein her in before it is too late. Human rights organisation Liberty have stepped up to the plate now, having launched a lawsuit against Braverman over her power grab, impacting on freedoms and, well, when the word liberty literally means freedom and Braverman is taking freedom away to protest, a human right, you can kind of understand why they've taken this option. It's literally what they exist for. The new laws basically give the police unlimited powers to shut down protest, and the way Braverman got these new powers to give was unprecedented, given the legislation she just sneaked through the back door with the help of Labour Lords sitting on their hands had already been voted down the traditional way. Instead of amending the legislation and trying to bring it back again, she just said, sod you, how dare you stop me? I'll find another way to get around you then, and has basically taken a wrecking ball to democracy in doing so. If the Tories can pass laws without scrutiny once, as Braverman has done here, they will do it again and again, especially if Labour hide behind conventions to not stop them from doing it. Literally, what is the point of Labour these days if not to oppose? What Braverman has been allowed to get away with here is a violation of constitutional principle, because these measures had already been rejected by Parliament. But Braverman doesn't think the will of Parliament applies to her and her extremist hardline approach to getting what she wants. She's got a God complex, frankly, and it needs shattering. Well, to that end, Liberty have sent Braverman an 18-page pre-action letter for a judicial review into what Braverman has just done on the grounds that she is seeking to amend the threshold of protest powers by the back door and subverting Parliament to do so in a way that expands police powers. That under the Public Order Bill, Parliament only gave permission for clarification of the law, not amendments to it. Yet that is what Braverman has managed to obtain by circumventing the will of Parliament, getting changes sneaked through via secondary legislation instead of primary legislation, i.e. as a bill, as it should have been done. The serious disruption regulations Braverman will now introduce would be unlawful, having been brought about due to unjustified interference with the principle of parliamentary sovereignty. Sovereignty again! And the legislation just wasn't consulted on fairly, sneaked in as it was, which is in and of itself unlawful. Liberty themselves have issued a statement saying the Home Secretary has sidelined Parliament to sneak in new legislation via the back door, despite not having the powers to do so. This has been done deliberately in a way which enables the government to circumvent Parliament, who voted these same proposals down just a few months ago, and is a flagrant breach of the separation of powers that exist in our Constitution. This is yet another power grab from the government, as well as the latest in a long line of attacks on our right to protest, making it harder for the public to stand up for what they believe in. The wording of the government's new law is so vague that anything deemed more than minor disturbance could have restrictions imposed upon it. In essence, this gives the police almost unlimited powers to stop any protest the government doesn't agree with. This not only violates our rights, but the way it's been done is simply unlawful. This same rule was democratically rejected earlier this year, yet the Home Secretary has gone ahead and introduced it through other means regardless. We've launched this legal action to ensure this overreach is checked and that the government is not allowed to put itself above the law to do whatever it wants. It's really important that the government respects the law and that today's decision is reversed immediately. There's hope yet that this power grab by Suella Deville can be killed off. It seems to be a good time to join Liberty, actually, if you're so inclined to support them in their intended action against her. And after you've liked, shared and subscribed to the channel covering the news the mainstream prefers you didn't know, you can check out this video on the fall of the fatal motion, the incredible efforts by the Greens who spearheaded the parliamentary attempt to stop Braverman, and the Labour patheticness that let it pass anyway. And I'll catch you on the next vid. Cheers, folks.